Okay, so everybody knows the verse, do not repay evil for good. I mean, do not repay or evil for evil, but when somebody slaps you, turn the other cheek and lend them the other. I watched a video by Johnny Chang and I was confused on to why because there are times when God told me like you were doing this wrong or like, you should have put your head and your foot in this, but instead of being a doorway to save others and evangelize others, you were like a doormat for people to step on you. And that's just not how it worked because that's what God did. And God is the only one who's capable of doing that, who can actually do it efficiently and spiritually and in every single other way. And Christians these days, just like the same way they try to please people instead of serving God, and they do it the other way, like they're serving people, like without really caring about them, and they try to please people instead, or like they're serving God because their praise are near me. They draw their praise near to me, but their hearts are far from me, right? He says that himself. It's all over the scriptures basically, but the same way that occurs, um, we try to be a doormat instead of a doorway. And the reason why God is a doormat is because when He died on the cross, His blood it reconciliates every single sin that you did and it washes you clean. It's almost like you've never done it. Like you've done it, but it's just like my attorney general gives you a better case. My son died for this. All this is cleansed, right? Because you came out of price, right? And so when He sees you sin, it's like a dog coming back to his vomit. But if you're righteous, you'll stand up again, right? Even though a righteous man falls 7 times, he still gets back up. That's how you're righteous, nothing else, right? And so and by the blood of God. But if you have the blood of God, then you wouldn't give up on Him. And if you did, then that just means you're leaving the faith, right? Pretty simple stuff. But I looked at this Johnny Chang video and he told me something really strange because I don't know like if anybody can like catch this except for like ordained teachers, but like it says like you know turn the other cheek, right? If somebody slaps you on your right cheek, right, this side for me, right, but let's say I'm sitting across from you and and like you slap somebody or somebody slaps you. Usually people are right-handed, right? And because it's a book, right, they would specify if it was from the left or from the right, right? But usually people are right-handed, right? They slap you from the right. You can't slap somebody from the right side of their cheek with your right hand. You got to be left-handed, right? But this is under presumption that you're right-handed, meaning it's a backhand slap. So they're doing this, right? They're doing this instead. And in Jewish tradition back in the day, that meant like to shame somebody to show like, hey, I'm your oppressor and you're lower than I am. Like you're more inferior than I am. And so that's what it'd be. And so it's funny because they titled the section of um turn the other cheek and if they steal your tunic, let them take your cloak too. And if they force you to go 1 mile, go for them too. They call it retaliation. It's not retaliation. It's nobility. It's vindication. The reason for that is because they're trying to shame you, right? However, if you show them the other cheek, they'll be like, "Yo, I'm not too sure if I want to do this again." Otherwise, people are gonna be like, "Oh, you're so horrible for shaming on this like homeless person or this inferior person," right? This can happen in real life too. Anything, like if somebody like try to steal your clothes and like they take away your pants, go to school with just underwear and be like, "Hey, this person stole my pants." Go to school with just underwear. Do it. Be like, "This person stole my pants." You know. And so like, not that was kind of funny, but I was thinking about Jesus when he met the adulteress and the Pharisees were like, "Yo, we're gonna stone this person. Like, what are you gonna do?" Right? It's obvious it's vindication, but let me give you that connection right there. Basically, like they catch this person in the midst of adultery, right? They probably set it up or something, or like it's Roman back in the day, like Rome back in the day, everybody's doing whatever, right? And then because the Pharisees aren't doing their jobs, and basically like when they catch this woman, they're like, "Yo, she messed up. According to your law, we gotta kill him." What he does vindicates that woman and shames other people. He said, "Hey, you know what? If you're gonna stone this person, the only person who can stone this adulteress is those who've never sinned before, who's never committed something similar to adultery or anything like cursing, lying, stealing, um, just like hurting somebody, or like like anything that's sin. Those the 300, the over 300 laws of the Old Testament. It's even harder now, like, but we got Jesus, so, but they're like, yo, if none of you guys have committed these, then you can be the first one to throw the stone. And from youngest to oldest, right? Youngest, You lived on the earth for not many years, and yet you still sinned. To the oldest, the Pharisees and the Sadducees, the religious people who've sinned because they're like 50 to like 87, right? Or like that's what the movies show. They probably are, right? They all leave. What did he do there? He put the shame from the adulteress to them, to the people who give themselves an excuse to hurt somebody, right? Did Jesus just like, all right, stone me instead? He didn't say that. Is that what we say? Yeah, but he didn't say that. He'll set an example. Matter of fact, he comes up to the woman and he says, "Where are your accusers?" She doesn't like come up to him while like half dead and be like, "Look, they won't hurt you anymore." Yeah, they will. They will. Actually, they were only there for Jesus, so they probably just keep on using the women, and you know how it is. But Jesus didn't let himself get stoned. That's kind of what we're doing. When somebody slaps you, you're fine with them, just like you're trying to show your goodness and your loving, so you let them slap you again. The gospel is offensive, and you use kindness to repay evil. You don't just let yourself get stepped on like a doormat, right? You're not going onto the cross. You're going onto the cross for Jesus, because you're a sacrifice for Jesus, and he gets to use you. But you're not a sacrifice for people. That's already happened. You're not the second Jesus. You're a little G, and you're meant to represent him. You're not meant to get stepped on. Why in the world does the Bible keep on saying you're going to get defended by Jesus Christ Almighty? But when somebody slaps you, it's just like, now you're dead. That's not the case, right? If somebody trying to shame you, put the shame back onto him. It doesn't even say keep on letting him shame you. It says put the shame right back onto him. Right? Look at the one where it says if somebody steals from you, right? If somebody steals your undergarment, your tunic, let them take your cloak too. It's a shame thing. Somebody sues you. Yeah, right. Somebody sues you, and he takes your clothing. Give him everything and be like, I don't even need this, and shame him and be like, this guy took away my everything. I was homeless. He took away everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the right way to do it, because he says repay evil with good. You're not repaying evil with evil. You're not taking one of the Pharisee stones and trying to kill them all. You're not letting yourself get stoned either. You're putting the vindication, like how Jesus died on the cross for you, and taking that vindication and putting it somewhere else. Right? The cross is like he's putting it onto himself, because he's a doormat, right? He's a door mat where people step on him, clean the mud off of their feet, right? Where you wash their feet, right? But it's his blood, so it lasts forever. We're not supposed to do that. We don't get on the cross for people. You know what I mean? Like, show love, show forgiveness, show mercy. Give to others when they need it. But like, please go by the Spirit. Because I read all this stuff wrong before. Like, I thought this was genuine. Like, if somebody slap you, then let them slap you. Like, you can, but like, what's the point of going through the pain? That's what I'm thinking about right now. Like, if somebody slaps me, like, I'll probably just look at him weird, and then afterwards, like, we might just have to fight, like, literally. I'd rather not, but like, God told me to. I think that's it. Yeah, thank you.